So when I say the word meditation, what pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's something about ancient wisdom, maybe a spiritual quest, right? Well, today, we're going to look at it from a totally different angle. Think of it less like a mystical practice and more like a prescription, a science-backed prescription for some very modern problems, stuff like burnout and chronic pain. Okay, let's get into it. But to really get why this prescription is so powerful, we first have to understand the scale of the problem it's designed to treat. The daily pressures of just living today, they're taking a huge, measurable, and often debilitating toll on us. I mean, it's a question we all ask ourselves, isn't it? Why are we all so stressed out? But here's the thing. This isn't just a vague feeling. It is a real, measurable crisis. And when you look at the data, especially for folks on the front lines, you see just how critical the situation has become. Get this, one study found that a staggering 60 to 70% of healthcare workers are reporting burnout. And we're not just talking about feeling a little tired. The World Health Organization actually calls this an occupational phenomenon. Basically, it's chronic, unmanaged stress from your job that just grinds you down, leading to total exhaustion, cynicism, and just not being able to do your job as well. And it's not just about work-related stress either. Think about this number. More than 100 million Americans are living with chronic pain. That's an enormous figure. We're talking about a condition that's persistent, debilitating, and notoriously difficult to treat with conventional medicine alone. It's no wonder so many people are looking for other options. So, we've got these two huge problems, right? Burnout and chronic pain. And in the face of all this, the worlds of science and medicine are turning to a really ancient practice, but not as some kind of vague wellness trend. They're looking at it as a serious, powerful, evidence-based tool. And here's the key thing to understand. The goal isn't about escaping your life or checking out from reality. Not at all. It's about changing your relationship with it. It's like you're still walking the same path, but you're learning to see it with a completely new perspective, with a lot more resilience. At the very heart of this practice is a concept you've probably heard of, mindfulness. Jon Kabat-Zinn has this fantastic definition. It's all about paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, and, this is the important part, without judging. It's about switching off that autopilot mode where we're just constantly doing and shifting into a state of simply being. This quote really just nails it. The idea is that a lot of our suffering doesn't come from what's actually happening, but from the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening. So you could say meditation is the practice of learning to just observe that inner story, and eventually maybe even rewrite it. Okay, so that all sounds pretty good in theory, right? But what's really going on inside our brains and our bodies when we meditate? Well, the science shows some pretty incredible physical changes. Yeah, researchers have been looking at this for decades, and they've found real, measurable effects. I mean, we're talking early studies that showed it can alter things you don't even consciously control, like your heart rate and blood pressure. And then you get the really wild stuff, like Tibetan monks who can raise their body temperature by over 8 degrees Celsius just with their minds. Or other studies showing that meditators actually have a stronger immune response after getting a flu vaccine. It's pretty amazing. And now, with modern tools like fMRI, we can take it even further. Scientists can literally watch the brain change in real time. They can see how meditation physically alters activity in the exact parts of our brain that handle pain, regulate emotions, and manage stress. It's not just a feeling anymore. They can see it right there on a screen. All right, so we've geeked inside the brain, but how does this translate to the real world? What are the actual results? Well, a recent clinical trial gives us some really clear answers, especially for people dealing with that burnout we were talking about. In this trial, they studied healthcare workers who were super burned out. After 3 months, the group that practiced Transcendental Meditation saw their emotional exhaustion scores drop by an average of 8 points. Now, compare that to the control group, who only saw a drop of about 2.6 points. That is a huge difference, more than 3 times the improvement. But here's where the results get really interesting and kind of subtle. The practice didn't really move the needle on acute stress, that in-the-moment, short-term feeling of being overwhelmed. But where it made a massive difference was with the chronic conditions, the burnout, the anxiety, the insomnia. So what does that tell us? It suggests meditation is a powerful tool for building long-term resilience, not just a quick fix for a bad day. And that really is the main point here. This isn't just about temporary relief. It's about something much deeper. It's about fundamentally rewiring your relationship with your own thoughts and experiences. It's almost like you're upgrading your brain's entire operating system. And hey, you can get a little taste of this yourself with a classic mindfulness exercise. All you do is take a single raisin and just pay full attention to it. How it feels, how it looks, smells, and tastes. You can transform a totally mindless action into this incredibly rich, vivid experience. It's a tiny example, but it shows you exactly what that profound shift in awareness feels like. And that shift in awareness, it leads to the most liberating insight of all. You start to see that your thoughts are not facts. They are just mental events. They're like clouds passing in the sky. They come and they go. And once you truly realize that you don't have to believe or obey every single thought that pops into your head, well, you gain a profound sense of freedom. And that realization doesn't just reduce your symptoms, it creates space. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities for how you can respond to life's challenges, leaving us all with one final powerful question to consider.